Australia. Oh, he's hit this one, Miles. Great shot. Oh, it's a biggie. Straight over the top. Kohli drives through the covers. It's into the fence like a tracer bullet.
Okay, boys, couple of days to go for the Asia Cup, the most awaited game. Actually, just a day to go. For us, it feels like Asia Cup starts on Sunday, but it's actually starting tomorrow. So we're going to have a lot of chat today on that, and more so coming in the next few days as well. But just as we start discussing about Asia Cup for all the viewers who will be watching later, let me explain the format quickly, right? So this is the six Asian teams who's going to play: India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Hong Kong who qualified, right? So you have three teams in each of the groups. So there are two groups. So India, Pakistan, and Hong Kong in one group, and the other team, three teams in the other group, and they play each other once, and then the top two teams from each of the group goes to the Super Four, where again each team plays all the three teams, and then the top two teams directly play the finals. There are no semi-final concepts this time. The Asia Cup, which started back in 1984, the first Asia Cup, there has been 14 events so far, so this is going to be the 15th. So India, I think, have won 8 out of 14. 5 have been won by Sri Lanka, and the remaining 2 by Pakistan. And head-to-head, India-Pakistan, because that's the first game for us. Again, 14 games between India and Pakistan, out of which I think India have won 7. 5 have been won by Pakistan. And then I think there is one match which got washed away. In fact, India won 8. Pakistan won 5, and there was one match which was washed out. And the event so far, 7 Asia Cup winning team is India, and then 5 by Sri Lanka, 2 by Pakistan. India is the defending champion. The last time we played was 2018, and Sri Lanka is actually the hosting nation this time, though we are playing in UAE because of all the economic reasons. But Sri Lanka is the hosting nation, as you can see in the background that we have. All right, boys. So extremely strong Asian fraternity this time. Let me start first by asking Devankur and then Gopal, you follow. So you know the 6 teams. Tell me by rank from top to bottom, how do you rank the 6 teams? Going by their current form and the squad and all.
So going by current form, I think top definitely has to be India right now because of the past recent T20 international performances. India, usually plays with all the higher ranked and very strong teams. They although sent a kind of a second string T20 side to West Indies, but West Indies is a very strong T20 side as well. We know that the maximum number of T20 World Cups won by the West Indies side. So we've been historically playing all the very strong sides for T20. So India, of course, is number 1 for me. Number 2, surprise, I think Sri Lanka has a very good chance this time because they are the underdogs, dark horses. For me, Sri Lanka has a very, very good team. At least the batting is very strong, and they've got 2, those mystery spinners as we call in, and a good bowling attack. And Dasun Shanaka has made a very big impact into the team as a captain, as a playing captain. I mean, somebody who's performing also with the bat and also in the ball. I mean, he takes wickets in the interim. So very close.
We'll come to the team discussion very soon.
I know. I just wanted to give a small explanation.
Let's understand the ranks quickly first. So you say India and Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, the reason why I'm ranking in this also is the think tank and the captaincy perspective and the last few performances. India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Hong Kong. So this is my top 6.
Wow. And before I move to Gopal, Bangladeshi fans, if they ever watch this, is not going to be a fan of you, Devankur, for sure. Is Bangladesh featuring in number 5 out of the 6 teams because of their recent performance in the West Indies, or is it otherwise?
Zimbabwe. More so Zimbabwe.
Sorry, in Zimbabwe, yeah.
Yeah. So they're not that balanced as I would see. I mean, they are like, kind of a small little sparks here and there. I mean, they are not consistent at all. With T20, you need to be consistent. With T20, you need to be performing on the field with some kind of, flair and exuberance that Afghanistan shows. And Afghanistan on its own day could be very, very threatening to even a top-ranked side. So I could, anyways, to topple the whole equation side, and I would say that I can top Afghanistan number one. They could be as dangerous as it could be number one, to be the number one side amongst all the top six. But then again, if we have to keep experiences and how match mentality and how people actually prepare for these tournaments, keeping in mind of that, so I think India has a very strong chance. And then, of course, I mean, I've got high hopes with Sri Lanka. I think Sri Lanka needs to perform for the sake of cricket and for the sake of whatever they've been doing as a preparation to it. And we've seen many Sri Lankan players also coming up in the ranks of
They've recently defeated Australia.
Yes.
Correct.
And good T20 side, and they're playing league cricket also. They're playing this, many Sri Lankans featured in IPL as well. So that's a good sign for Sri Lankan cricket. And of course, Pakistan and Sri Lanka are close by, but Pakistan again, I mean, they do not have that much of a preparation. They seem to be a little underprepared. And with the team selections going on and with these injuries coming in, I would rank Sri Lanka a little higher than Pakistan. So that's my thought process.
Okay, so once again, your ranking would be India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan,
Afghanistan.
then you have Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and obviously Hong Kong. Gopal, what about you?
I actually echo Debankur's view. I mean, see, India is the strongest squad, Shantam. I mean, you need to understand that we have been playing quite a number of T20s. Just for both of you to just recap it out. I was just thinking about the T20 international matches that the teams were played prior to this Asia Cup. You will be surprised to know Sri Lanka last played the T20 match somewhere in February when Australia had told them. That was a 3-match series, which actually eventually they lost at home. It was Smith. The last match, Sri Lanka played a blinder, but otherwise they actually lost the series. Pakistan played a similar T20 match last year, 2021, I think around October or November when Australia had toured Pakistan. So if you look at the international T20s here, much of the teams are not been playing in T20 internationals. Probably this is going to be one of the openings for them to, or a practice tournament for them to move towards the T20 World Cup in Australia later in October or November. Given India has played a lot of T20 internationals, of course, India is a very, very strong squad. Down the line, of course, because of the squad presence, because of the nature of the players, because we have seen some players performed in IPL as well, like Debankur mentioned, I was pretty impressed with Hazaranga and Rajapaksha. I still feel that maybe Sri Lanka might slightly have an edge over Pakistan. We don't know. Pakistan can spring a surprise here and there. We will not be able to know. They also have a very, very good squad. I also have a deep feeling that Afghanistan will play really well because it will suit their conditions. It will be a small kind of a wicket in Dubai, Sharjah, or Amdustan where I'm really hoping Rashid Khan to make an impact and Mohammad Nabi, of course, Mujib is there. So three quality spinners to make an impact. And then you have Bangladesh. Of course, Bangladesh, as Debankur said, it is. I mean, on a given day they can topple any side. On a given day they can be beaten by a second string attack as well. And of course, Hong Kong, who recently qualified. They can be good, but I don't see them upsetting any of the other two squads. So India number one, number two should be Sri Lanka. And I'll probably, of course, have to give the order as Pakistan, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Hong Kong.
So basically, no change in both of your preferences, and you both say India number one, and it's not the Indian, but the cricket fan inside you who's putting India in number one. I think I kind of agree to you to the rankings. T20 is a funny game. It's that short format of the game that things can change, and I think confidence is a big thing. The initial one or two games are going to really decide who plays or who takes the momentum through to the tournament. So we'll quickly move to the squad. Okay, so I'm going to quickly share my screen and we'll pick from the last. We will probably not speak a lot on Hong Kong, but Desio ka team hai, those teams like Hong Kong's and others. It's the Indians and Pakistanis or Bangladeshis who are based out of those countries in Hong Kong and other countries. They typically create the team, right? So it's going to be a good exposure for all of them, all of these players. But you all picked Bangladesh to be the fifth team. So here is Team Bangladesh in front of me. Uh, maybe Gopal, you go first. So one change that they've done, that's a strategic change, is that they've got Shakib as their captain
The
back,
captain.
right? I think
Right.
it was
They've dropped
Mahmudullah or someone else who was doing
Mahmudullah,
it,
exactly.
right?
They've
So
dropped
what do you make
Mahmudullah
out
and
of
they've
this
got.
team?
I'm not sure why Tamim is not playing. As he retired from the T20 internationals, I was not able
Maybe
to see.
injury.
Maybe
No, no,
injury
no, no.
because
He has
I
taken
mean,
a break. He has taken a break. He has said that he only wants
okay.
to play ODIs
Okay,
for
so
now.
he was a very key person for Bangladesh as an opener to flourish that first 5-6 overs. I thought he was. See, I've seen Anamul Haq play. I've seen the other Mosaddek Hussain also play. But that opening bit, whenever Tamim Iqbal has scored those runs in the top order, Bangladesh has always gone and won. In most of the cases, at least 90 to 90% of the matches they have won. So
Okay.
he's a very key person. Of course, you have Taskin as the fast bowler, and then you have your spinners in the form of, if I'm not wrong, Mehdi Hassan and Shakib Al Hassan itself. So, I mean, as Devankur said, this squad is actually capable of beating any squad on a given day, but they can also get beaten by some other second ranked team because of some poor game strategy on a given day.
Devankar?
Yeah, bowling is nice. I can see Fizz is there. I mean, Gopal, of course, missed Fizz, who's their
Correct.
champion bowler.
Mm.
So Mustafiz is somebody who can bowl a couple of overs up front. Then he comes out with his, off cutters and then good yorkers that he bowls in the end. So 4 overs, good intact for Bangladesh. They have got two good spinners in both of them, off spinners. Both of them go by the name of Mehdi Hassan. One is Mehdi Hassan Miraj, who thinks of giving the ball much more air. So any team, if they play against Sri Lanka sometime down the line, if they get maybe Sri Lanka is a team historically having so many lefties, so they'll be playing two off spinners against them. And both Mehdi Hassan Miraj, who loops the ball much and tries to take the ball away, and Mehdi Hassan, who's a faster off spinner kind of a thing, who likes to hit the deck or throw the ball right out the bottom of the bat. These two could be proving to be quite economical. So 12 overs intact, 8 overs is what Bangladesh needs to think about. So they've got Taskin Ahmed, Ibadat Hussain, and all those bowlers who can go for runs. But then again, I don't see their batting to be as strong as possible. Shakib is there, of course. He'll play the bowling all-rounder role here. But batting for me is not at all strong. As they'll be missing Tamim, of course. They'll be missing their last their wicketkeeper batsman who was the captain of the
Liton
last
Das.
team.
No, Liton Das.
Liton Das.
Liton is not there. He was not the captain. I mean, there was another guy who was selected as captain. I'm forgetting his name. He'll be
Mushfiqur
also
Rahim.
missed. No.
Soumya Sarkar.
Mushfiqur is there. No, Soumya is
No,
not there.
Soumya
He's
Sarkar.
not in the team at all. Yeah, whatever it is. So their batting looks to be very unstable. No, they do not have that many good hitters, so to say. Like T20 right now, we are branding it as a hitter's game or somebody who can actually express themselves better on the ground. In that sense, I find Sri Lanka to be a very higher side, and we'll come to Sri Lanka squad later.
We'll
for
come
me-
to Sri. Yeah.
Yes,
We'll
but
come to
bowling-wise-
Sri Lanka. I think a couple of key players that none of you mentioned, and he actually is a regular in the team. He's actually a spinner who opens the ball. Is Nasu Ahmed. He does the
Nasu
left arm
Ahmed, yes.
spin job, and
Yes.
he is someone who actually opens the bowling and bowls 2-3 overs up front, and he is someone who picks up wicket very economical as well. So
Do
I
you
know
think he'll be in the top 11, first 11?
I think there is only one of the Mehdis who are going to play, because otherwise
Okay.
it's going to be pretty similar attack of off spin. I think
Right.
either of Mehdi Hassan or Mehdi Hassan Miraj is going to play along with Nasum, and then otherwise everyone can roll their arm. You have Mahmudullah who can bowl a couple of overs.
Right.
Shakib will bowl
Shakib is there.
overs
Yes.
for sure. Taskin will bowl. Mustafiz is going to bowl, and maybe they'll have Ibadat Hossain playing as well.
Right.
I agree to the point that you've mentioned that this team did very well, let's say good 6-7 years, but in the last 3-4 years they've not evolved much. They're in the batting section, they've not thought beyond the likes of Mushfiqur and
Mushfiqur,
Shakib,
Shakib,
Tamim.
yes.
Mahamadullah is a good player. I think he plays those cameos. Liton will be missed. He is someone who really gives them a good, strong start, pretty consistent. But in that middle overs, the middle order is not strong, and they do not have strong hitters at the end who can really, play that finisher role, or maybe hit a 50 run in 3 overs, 4 over span. So I think
Right, right,
that's what is going to be critical. And these are big grounds, so you need to
right.
clear the boundary as well, and you need to hit those strong
So
sixes.
I think Saifuddin is one player who Bangladesh touts him as one of those bowling all-rounders, like somebody like Hardik Pandya. I mean, he is going to come down the order, maybe 4 down, 5 down, play those cameos, and also bowl at 128 plus 130, 132 kilometers per hour kind of speeds with the slower deliveries. So
He
that's what
actually, he's the guy. You remember, he's the guy in against the world in India in the World Cup. He actually
yes,
took the game very close, and he
yes,
scored a
yes.
50. Coming down the order, he actually bowls 140 plus. That guy, he hits the
Yeah.
140 mark. But then I'm just thinking, will they go for so many fast bowlers, or maybe they drop
So
either
that's what I'm saying. Ibadat would
or
not be
Ashwin?
playing. If Ibadat would not be playing, they'll definitely go ahead with Mustafizur. Go ahead with Saifuddin. And the reason why I said both of the Mehdi Hassans is because these guys can wield their bats. These guys can actually hit the ball. Both of them
Yeah.
have evolved as batsmen as well. So that's the reason why I think maybe Nasum Ahmed not playing because, of course, I mean against Sri Lanka with so many lefties in place, you would definitely want to play your off spinners. Mahmudullah gives you that option. But
Yeah.
my problem with Mahmudullah, he gets stuck as a batsman. He doesn't, is not that free flowing a batsman that he used to be before. So
Mhm.
Saifuddin is somebody that they need to, give him more opportunities going up the, up the order, and maybe start hitting from the ball now. So they have to give just Saifuddin that freedom, and so that he can express himself and maybe take the game away. So I see
We
very
hope
less attacking
so.
batsmen from
I mean,
Bangladesh. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, see, that is not something that we have seen, them use a lot. But I hope so that the teams this is a format where you really need to be flexible and think on your toe.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so moving on to the next team that you all picked, the number 4 was Afghanistan. I think this is
Mhm.
one team and one country all of us love. Irrespective
Mhm.
of they win or they lose, they win hearts all over they go. So. Uh, I think we'll be really optimistic to say for them to win the cup. It will be
Mhm.
great for their cricket as well. But we know their star players. Who do you think is going to emerge from this team this year, apart from the likes of the Nabis and the Rashid Khans?
I see. There's one guy called I think Hazratullah Zazai. I've probably heard about. I've seen him playing. Then you have the Najibullah Zadran is also there. They're good. They're decent batters. Of course, we have not seen them playing as much as international cricket as you would like to see, because we have seen Mohammad Nabi or Mujibur Rahman or even Rashid Khan. For that matter, I am really having a bet on Rashid Khan, similar to what he did for Gujarat in this IPL, wherein he was coming at around seven down, 8 down, and smacking some 20 odd runs in real quick time. So if that form is there with Rashid Khan, then it will be really exciting to see how Afghanistan shapes up in the first 15 overs, because they really have the fire in Rashid Khan to score those quick runs at the end of the 20 over mark. But then we'll have to figure it out how they are going to play the first 15 overs, and that is the challenge that probably Afghanistan will have in understanding how to play those first 15 overs. Because as Debanku said, for Bangladesh, for even for Afghanistan also, you don't have those power hitters in the middle order to clear and hit long sixes, and that will be a slightly a bit challenging for Afghanistan.
Yep, Devankur, what do you think? What's
A
your take on
little,
this team?
my thought process differs a little bit from Gopal's. I think they've got enough firepower in their batting, and they have so much of flexibility that, as Gopal said, I think Mohammad Nabi and Rashid Khan, they'll play this floaters role very much, and this Zazai. Hazatullah Zazai, right? Who's the opener?
Yeah, the one
Yeah.
that opens the left arm,
Yes,
left-hander.
yes. So left-handed opener. I mean, he's a firebrand player. I mean, he's a firepower himself. I mean, if he gets the balls in his arc, he'll definitely hit the ball out of the park. Of course, if he's against bowlers like Bumrah and everything, Bumrah has shown that take the ball away from him, he just tries swing it on the leg side and he misses the ball. So it is. I mean, if he gets the ball in his arc, I mean, he's definitely going to hit the ball out of the park. And they've got good. Karim Janat is one player that played so brilliantly against India in the last T20 World Cup. Although they did win the match, they took it close. Karim Janat played well. Their bowling is full. I mean, I don't see. Uh, they've got Bumrah part two in Naveen ul Haq, although he gets hit for runs, but he definitely has the Bumrah kind of bowling.
Right.
He looks like.
I think Devankur is very generous today, Gopal. He said, this guy Saifuddin as Hardik, and now he's saying, this bowler
Naveen ul
as
No,
you
he
must be
looks
getting
like
some
Bumrah.
good dry fruits for cheap, huh?
No, no,
we, we,
no. I mean,
we all want Afghanistan to do well, Santon. I mean, they're a really good side,
But
if I'm not wrong, Jonathan Trott is the coach, right?
yes, batting
is it?
coach.
Afghanistan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just tell
So
me
with
one
that,
thing. See, sorry, go ahead.
good.
See, tell me. I think we all know that the strength of Afghanistan has never been their batting. It's always their ability to defend totals and their three key spinners, right? So I feel that they focus. They don't need to score 180, 200 runs. They should focus to score 140 and see if they can really have a stable innings and finish with 155, 60, right? Because I'm telling you, in these big grounds, if they score 150 plus every time they score that, they're going to be very challenging opposition to beat.
Right. The problem what we're seeing with this squads are that we are trying to, kind of. I mean, there is a comparison which is coming naturally. When you have six teams, you compare it to each other. You're not definitely talking about England's and Australia sides here. You're talking about India. I mean, I would still like to believe that India is a topmost side there on paper and somebody who's got a very stronger side. So when you're looking at batting and you're looking at bowling of the other teams, you're trying to compare them to the Indian batting. When you think about who's the top five of us, we have the firepower. Does Afghanistan team have it? Maybe they have 60% of the firepower that they have. Bangladesh, for me, 0% of the firepower that they have. Sri Lanka, they'll match us with the firepower in the top six. So when you're talking about matching squads, you actually look at in terms of comparison where your feeling is to be the stronger side according to you from all those top six teams, and then you start comparing. So in that sense, for me, like I wanted to put this point up also, like looking at Bangladesh team, they look more like the Sunrisers Hyderabad of the last 5-6 years. Like they are very bowling heavy, batting Ram Bharose. They'll have one batsman maybe who will click 140, 145. They'll try and bat, if they bat first, and they'll try and defend. So to your point, Shantan, if Afghanistan also wants to do, look to do that, I think they have enough firepower to actually start looking at 170, 180. If not possible, then stop at 160 because they have enough firepower in their bowling to actually restrict the other side towards,
Yeah,
lesser
see,
score
the
than
only
160.
concern is that they target 180 and they get bowled out for 110,
Or-
right? Then you do not
Absolutely
have a
right. Yes.
chance, right? Because the
Absolutely
other
right.
teams are smart enough to pace their innings, correct?
Yes.
But that's
Yes.
why I'm saying, you bank on your strength. Don't go for things which is not your strength, right? They will be missing that guy Mohammad Shahzad at the top. I don't know why don't they play him. There are a lot of politics over there as well, but his unconventional batting stance and the way he hits the ball, but he used to still score runs, right? Something he's going to be missed. With around 9 minutes left, we'll quickly move to Pakistan. Okay, I don't know if
Right.
you've all heard in the last couple of hours the news coming in that while this guy Shaheen Shafriti is already injured.
Mohammad
Mohammad
Wasim is
Wasim
also
Jr. is insured as well, and the news that is coming in is guess who's flying replacing him?
Mohammad
Mohammad
Asif,
Amir.
this guy.
Mohammad Amir.
Mohammad Ahmed.
It
Mohammad Ahmed
Mohammad
is
is
Amir.
it is Hassan
Hasnan.
Hassan Ali.
Hasnan.
Hosnain.
No, Hasnain was already brought in for a replacement for Afridi,
Okay.
but it is Hassan Ali
Hassan Ali.
who's again flowing in as a replacement for Mohammad Wasim Jr. Okay. The
Nice.
interesting thing is, I don't know if you know, but Hasnain was recently alleged for chucking by
By
none other
Marcus
than
Stoinis.
Marcus Stoinis in the 100, right? And he has not played ever since. So yes, it has not created a lot of noise, but if this thing gets called out in an event like Asia Cup by one of the top stars, it will certainly be noticed. So a Pakistan team without their star fast left arm bowler is definitely not as strong as they thought to be. What are your takes? How much chance would you give Pakistan to win this Asia Cup this time?
I'll be surprised if they win it, to be very frank. With the team, with the current form, with whatever turmoil they're going through. And I don't feel, I mean, they've been playing well. Good bowling side, of course. I mean, their batting is a little slow to my liking. And they'll be facing a different India right now. What the team India that they faced in the World Cup, the timid, if I may call so, if I may, have the audacity to call them a little timid with their approach during the World Cup against Pakistan, they are not going to face the same team India. So forget about that. And yeah, so I think bowling wise, they are weak. Batting, they're very top heavy again. So apart from Asif Ali, who is known to be the belligerent, hit out from the ball number one from kind of a guy, the others are touch players. You talk about Babar Azam. Shadab Khan is there who can hit the ball.
So I'll just challenge you over here. Okay, so if we know their top three will be Babar, Rizwan, and Fakhar, right? But they actually have a lot of firepower right after that. Okay, so they have Iftikhar Ahmed, Khushdil Shah, Mohammad Nawaz, and this guy
Haider Ali.
Not Haider Ali.
Asif Ali.
I don't think they'll pick Haider Ali. Haider Ali is a wicket keeper. He hits the ball and he's an opener. But they actually have a lot of firepower. It's all about whether they will be playing enough number of balls to actually give them an option. So this is actually not a bad team. You know how Pakistan can surprise. So, all the top three are class players.
It is a surprising team, Sayantan. It is an extremely surprising team. You will not know. I mean, from the on paper, of course, I've ranked them 3, but I won't be surprised if they end up winning this competition and doing. And it's a matter of confidence, Shantan. On Sunday, when India plays Pakistan, if Pakistan are able to beat India on that particular day, they have their confidence will be very, very high. And I mean that momentum is something that they'll probably carry out for the entire tournament with Babar playing well. I have real high hopes on Mohammad Rizwan, and he can hit the ball too high and long sixes. I have
Rizwan is not a big hitter. Rizwan, I think he is one. Rizwan is one player who has actually recently been mentioned that he's exposed that he actually plays everything to the leg side. So he doesn't have a lot of offside play. So you back his offside and you bowl him in the off, and he'll still try to get it in the leg. So he's actually not a very big hitter and he doesn't go for it as well. He's an excellent runner between the wickets. So he actually goes for those quick singles and converting singles to twos and twos to threes. Okay. But tell me, I think one guy that we have not mentioned about in this squad is Shadab Khan, who is their premier leg spinner, right?
And but also
he has been scoring heavy. He has been scoring heavy in PSL.
Yes. So very good batsman. He is the surprise package actually. He can be an excellent all rounder, and I mean the pitch is also going to suit for him. Rashid Khan is there, and all the leg spinners, you Chahal, Shadab Khan, Rashid Khan, all are similar leg spinners. And
you think there will be due this time? You think there will be due this time?
I don't, not much of a due. I don't think so. At this point,
there will be. There will be a little bit of due. I mean, it's like almost the same kind of weather every time you're in the UAE. It will be a little due.
Slightly earlier. We're actually playing this in Dubai slightly earlier than last time, right? In September, right?
But the weather doesn't change that. I mean, it's almost the same.
What is the time difference between India and
1.5 hours? It's like 6 o'clock their time. We are going to start.
6 o'clock, which is 7:30 our time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't have that much time. I had
the World Cup happened in September, right? The World Cup happened in September, and the matches were actually one-sided to the teams winning the toss almost.
Right.
So it's late August, reaching September. So I agree with Devankur that I'll not be surprised if there is two. Sorry, Devankur, you were asking a question.
Yeah. Question to you: who do you think will open for Pakistan?
Oh, I think they'll still go with. See, I think looking at their squad, they'll go for Rizwan and Babar because come what may, we criticize them for being slow, but they actually always give good starts. So if
But
they still,
you don't think Fakhar Zaman is the best player for them to actually go for and start?
I would have loved that because that gives them a left and a right hand combination as well.
Yes.
And you've seen how destructive Fakar can be in that semi-final against Australia, where he was tonking sixes to Mitchell Stark one after the other, right? The bad thing is he only got to play 30 odd balls. He scored a 55 or something like that. So that would be ideal, Rizwan to come down. But I still feel that they will go with Rizwan and Babar because that's the tried and tested opening pair. They'll get stability at the top, and then they'll have 4 or 5 hitters right at the right after that who can constantly turn the tables and all. So I don't think they'll change their approach a lot. Babar will play that anchor role. Rizwan will try and score those odd boundaries and run fast, and then thereafter you have Fakar and Shadab Khan and
Shadab,
Iftikhar, Khushdil, Nawaz, and all those players. Asif
Asif
Ali,
Ali.
right till number 7, 8. And if Hassan Ali plays, he's actually someone who can hit the ball as well. So you'll
Also,
have
yes.
hitters right till number 8, number 9, right?
So
I'll
who are
be
your
very,
top? Who are your surprise packages for Pakistan for this Asia Cup? Who
I
do you
think
think would
I
be
see,
swing a
see
surprise?
personally, I want to really see this guy Shahnawaz Dahani play. He
Yeah.
comes with a lot of backing of the media of Pakistan. He's someone who's a live wire. He comes with a lot of energy, and he is a
Personality, a
real
lot of
caricature on
personality.
the field, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
He's been economical in Netherlands, but not big wickets. But I will personally be excited to see him. And Babar is always a class to watch, but we'll really see how good he is playing against, because he's always been alleged that he scores runs against the Minos and the lower ranked teams. But this is going to be competing. We'll see three games against India, right? So we'll see how he plays against this team. Now, the last couple of teams, which otherwise is our top 2 teams, let's quickly go to Sri Lanka. I know both of you are very passionate about this team to do well. What's your take on this team? I know you're basically saying that it's going to be an India and a Sri Lanka finals.
Not necessarily, but before we answer that question, what about you? We didn't ask you what is your top 6.
See, I will definitely say India and then followed by Pakistan because T20 format, and I think that pressure and the stuff, they have quality players. Let's not even doubt that they have quality players to really come back. They'll be under pressure. They were probably not prepared for Shaheen's injury, but I think it's going to be India followed by Pakistan. Then I will keep Sri Lanka. I will keep Bangladesh, Afghanistan, and Hong Kong. You might be surprised that I've kept Afghanistan in number 5, just for the sheer feel that I think they'll not be putting in competitive totals on the board for their bowlers to get enough runs to defend them. That's the only thing. And I think the likes of Rashid Khan and Nabi, they have played so much of league crickets that a lot of teams are so used to playing them with the video clips and all. They may not be as threatening as they were before. So that's we all can be surprised, and we'll
Yes,
speak
yes,
through
absolutely.
the series. But
Absolutely.
I think that's how it's India, Pakistan. It's gonna
Sri
be
Lanka.
Sri
Sri
Lanka,
Lanka,
Bangladesh,
Bangladesh,
Afghanistan, and
Afghanistan,
Hong Kong.
and Hong Kong.
Okay, coming back to your question about Sri Lanka, I think they're a very, very well balanced team. We have not seen them perform much outside of Sri Lanka recently, but they have built up a team which is, again, one of their core strengths is attack from ball one, and they've got a very good bowling side also. On paper, of course. Things can differ when they get on the field. They have a bad day and they lose to even an Afghanistan. That might happen. It happens to good teams also. But if you see their batting lineup, they have Gunathilaka, Pathum Nisanka to open. Nisanka is a very slow player who can, like Rahul plays his innings slow to start off. Then, he starts hitting the balls for huge long sixes, and then he ends in a flurry. And then they have Charit Asalanka. He's been the best, their mainstay for their batting for the time period they were building up along with Dasun Chanaka. Dasun has been playing those small little, cameo kind of innings, and he's also scored, I think, a very close to a century too with one of the topmost teams. I think it was Australia that Dasun Chanaka had played one of
54.
those. Yeah, he played
54,
Yeah,
20 balls.
he I think hit 50 for some odd
20
15,
balls.
16 deliveries.
so yeah.
20 balls.
He played a
say
brilliant
that,
innings against India also before the IPL selection and everything. The team selection,
Yeah.
he played a brilliant innings against India also.
correct.
So they have got enough firepower in their batting. I see, Dhananjay De Silva. I see Rajapaksa. You know what Rajapaksa could do. Selected for Kings 11. He was out of contention for the Sri Lanka team because of his fitness, and then again being reconsidered. And he has to prove himself. He can be a wicket keeper also. I don't see,
Very, very big hit, strong hitter. Very strong
yeah,
hitter. And
on the leg side, he's the
he
strongest hitter.
yeah, he's a very, very strong hitter.
So there is Chandimal. I don't see Chandimal playing, but bowling. Just look at bowling. They've got Jeffrey Van Der Say, a leg spinner. They've got Hasaranga, who's a premier top T20 bowler right now. Again, a leg spinner. They've got Mahesh Thikshana, who's the carom ball, and then he does the flick of the. So bowling is taken care of. Of course, I don't think so. They've got a good fast bowler or something, but then again, their captain Dasun Chanaka can come in, and he has been bowling those brilliant, 2 to 3 overs where he doesn't go beyond 20 runs. He's not. If you see his, the run rate that he bowls at, it is less than 6 or 7 right now, and he's been bowling those middle overs or the end overs, and he's picking up wickets because slower ball. He's been playing in Sri Lanka, bigger grounds. You try to hit him on the leg side, and you get caught. So I think they're a very, very well balanced side. If they put their brains onto the particular match, they'll be playing the strongest sides in the top 4, in the Super 4, because they will be playing against Afghanistan and Bangladesh. I think it will be easy meet for them. Once they get into top 4 and they play against Pakistan and India, they just have to apply themselves. And if they apply, the batting team looks to be at par to the strongest team here in Asia Cup. Again, I say it is India for me. So they have a very good batting side and again, good bowling side. So I think they have got a brilliant team and I have got high hopes along with them. Maybe spring a surprise, they'll win the Asia Cup.
So Gopal, tell me, if you are the captain of the Sri Lankan team, what's your strength? Is it chasing the runs, or do you think they will be happy to defend?
I see if the stadium or the ground does not have too much of a dew factor. I mean, the dew is not too much, and it is not going to decide the.
Let's take the dew out because obviously it changes all the equation. Let's take the dew out. There is no dew. What do you think
I would anytime with this batting lineup. I mean, with this bowling lineup, I'll probably have, and because it is Dubai, where I know that the ball is going to turn in the second half. I will definitely want to bat and put a total on the board. I'm pretty sure with the bowling lineup, like as Devankur mentioned. See, if you look at the squad here, I'm pretty sure. See, Dhananjay De Silva can bowl a bit of often. Vanindu Hasaranga will bowl it often. You have Dasun Chanaka. You have Mahesh Dikshana who is going to definitely play it out. And then you have this Chamika Karunaratne who is also an all-rounder. So, yes. I mean, around this squad, if you look at it, you have players who can bat and who can also bowl to fill in those 20 overs. Apart from that, you will also get into the fast bowlers. You have Matisha Patirana and you have Nwandi Fernando and others who will actually be the fast bowlers. But given the slowness of the track, and it will definitely bite some spin. If Sri Lanka are able to manage anything above 150, 160, I think they'll probably be able to easily defend it.
Yeah. So, and I was about to ask you. Sorry, I was about to ask you that, what sort of a total do you think is going to be good in these kind of surfaces and the ground size that you know as well?
Something on 150, 160 should be good, Shantan, I believe so. In a T20 match, if the ball is going to, the wicket is a bit slow, not a flat back track. If it's a wicket is a bit slower slide, anything around that 130, 140, 150 should be a good total to defend, especially when you have such slow bowlers in your team to just bowl that particular length. And if you look at it as Devankur correctly pointed out, Dasun Chanaka, Chamika Karunaratne, they are not going to bowl you fast deliveries. But they're going to bowl you that nippers that is going to really
the cutters and the hit, the slower bouncers and all, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think Gopal, one of the points that you mentioned very rightly is that, that's a team, and that's how Sri Lanka has always been. Everyone bats and everyone bowls, right? So while other teams will struggle to find their sixth bowler, this is a team where you will have 7 or 8 bowlers available on any given day, right? So that's always
Correct.
a good thing for the captain. Just one last question, and this will be to Devankur before we move to our team, India. You said if Dinesh Chandimal plays, and I was actually thinking, given his form, and don't go by the format that it was test, and he was actually hitting and scoring more than run a ball. I feel that he's going to be the surprise element of this team, and he will, in the middle order, do that role of a finisher, either batting first, set up the total, or actually give that kick at the end while chasing the innings. You think he's not going to be there in the playing 11?
I don't think so. I mean, Chandimal, if you make him to open, I mean, they have Rajapaksa as the wicket keeper, so they don't have anybody. I mean, I'm forgetting that guy's name was so excitable. The guy who always like the lefty who always
Dickwella.
reverse sweeps and sweeps.
Dickwella.
Dick
Dickwella.
Weller, yeah, I'm so thankful to Sri Lankan management to have not selected him. He's a waste of one slot in the Sri Lanka side because he doesn't know how to pace his innings. He's super excitable. He's like Rishabh Pant minus because he's like he thinks that he can hit the ball outside the ground, but he doesn't perform. End of story.
Devankur
Dinesh?
was so tempted to say he's Rishabh Pant, and then he suddenly remembers that Rishabh has been playing well, and then he says minus,
Exactly.
right?
but I'll tell you what. This guy, I'm 100% sure he thinks that he is Rishabh Pant of Sri Lanka, and that's the attitude with which he comes out, and he tries to impress upon the point to the Sri Lankan management, saying that I'm your Rishabh Pant. Give me those opportunities, and he's been given lots and lots of opportunities, and he's failed.
Is he not the guy who said that, okay, I quit Sri Lankan cricket and I'll play leagues and all those things?
That was Rajapaksa.
I think there were 3-4 players, and I think Dickwella probably was one of the players. I might be wrong as well.
Rajapaksa said because his fitness was being questioned.
Yeah.
But to your question, Chandimal would be a good bet if he bats up front.
See,
In the middle order is a wastage.
But don't think that okay, why will they play 2 wicket keepers? Teams do not think that way, and I don't think he was keeping the wicket against the Australian series as well, right? He was playing as a pure batsman. So
In the test matches,
think-
yes, right.
yeah, he will. I think so. If he plays, so you in the Indian squad, you might see a KL Rahul and a Dinesh Karthik and a Pant playing together, right? So these days the teams do not think that way. So I'll be very surprised. But I also think that Hasaranga and his googlies are going to be very effective this year as well. Okay, moving to our premier team.
Before you move on to India, Sri Lanka will be missing their premier fast bowler. I mean, the one who used to play for Gujarat Lions. I mean, he was really good. I'm
Dushman
forgetting his
Kachamira.
name.
Not Gujarat
Chamira.
Lions. He used to
Chamira.
play for Pune Super Giants.
No. Even
Tamiraj.
this season, they Dushmanta Chamira.
Yeah, he played
yeah.
for Lucknow Super Giants, right?
Sorry, Lucknow Super Giants. I keep saying
Yes.
Excellent.
He'll be missed. He'll be missed.
Yeah.
Excellent. I mean, he
If he-
was
but
one
you
of
know-
our bowlers.
But the only thing is he bowls at that 140 plus in these pitches is going to be something that the batsman loves. I think he is
Yes, of
someone
course.
who's effective where you either get a little bit of nip or a bit of bounce, and he's someone who swings as well. And in
Exactly.
India, in the humid conditions, you can get to swing the ball, but otherwise, in flat decks, probably no.
You're correct, but he's improved his death bowling, by a lot more.
Yeah.
And he's improved his Yorker length and everything. He could be your 18th and 20th over bowler or 17th or 19th over bowler, which I don't see with Sri Lanka right now. If you need somebody to, I think Dasun Shanaka will play that role, or maybe Chamika Karunaratne. Then again, those guys would not. Yeah, those guys would not have the pace of this guy to actually bowl them over. I mean, if you are playing against a 6th batsman or 7th batsman, he has the pace along with his length to actually get those LBWs or bowled.
Yeah.
So he'll be missed. He'll be definitely missed.
I think he's that hit the deck bowler who really gets
Yes.
good bounce as well, and then when you pitch up, it swings as well. So I think apart from that,
So drum rolls to
we are
the
coming to
premier team according to us.
the premier team according to us, right? And then I think we've spoken a lot about them, and before coming to the podcast, there was a picture that is released by BCCI of I think 10 or 11 players where one player is missing, and there is a rumor in the air that that player is probably not going to feature in the top 11 against Pakistan. It's Ravindra Jadeja. Okay. So it's rumor. I still feel that he's going to play. But we'll speak a lot about the squad. But what do you think is going to be critical for India's success? There is so much pressure. You've not qualified for the World Cup last time. You're still being talked about the team who's going to win the Asia Cup. You do not have a couple of your key players in Rohit and Virat coming with a lot of form. Yes, you have a very strong middle order, but the middle order cannot win you matches. You have an inexperienced bowling attack as well, apart from Bhuvi and a bit of Chahal. The others have not played enough, right? So why do we still feel that India is the favorite team to win the World Cup? Is it because the team is that good, or is it because the other teams are not that strong?
Gopal?
Who wants to go first?
Yeah,
Gopal.
I'll take this. I'll take this. Shantan, great question, actually. See, as I said, one of the reasons for India to be in the top, according to me, was the T20 victories against West Indies and England, and I mean that really had shown us the balance and I mean of the squad as well. With especially in the West Indies where we saw Arshdeep bowling really well. He can be an excellent 17th over 19th over bowler. Great death bowler. You have Ravi Krishna who's bowling really, really well in the leg spinners. So of course, I mean when you say that the bowling lineup is slightly inexperienced, I agree. But then they have been performing really well in the other tours. And of course, one of the key things to this all this lineup is, I mean, if you take 1 year back, you never had that all-rounder spot that was always a question mark. Of course, Jadeja was there, but you didn't have that bowler, a fast bowler who can also bat for you. With Hardik Pandya proving that form, I mean that gives an excellent balance for India to play an additional batsman or even play an additional bowler for that matter, depending on your that particular pitch that you want to go into it. So I think that gives a lot of flexibility to the Indian team itself. And of course, we have I mean, the players' forms is slightly better. We all know that Virat and Rohit are not amongst the good runs, but I mean, there's a saying that we all know that the form is temporary and the class is permanent. So I believe they will definitely have that in mind and maybe score good runs. And this they'll take this as a challenge towards the T20 World Cup. And you also have backup in the form of Shreyas Iyer, Akshar Patel, who have been really playing in the 11 in other tournaments, and now they are actually not part of the 11 squad. And that is one of the reasons I probably call that India is a very strong squad. And until and unless you get I mean they have a brainless movement on a given day, I think they should be a clear
So
winner.
Gopal is basically saying all good, strong, good boys, 15 players, and the haters are going to say that India is going to win probably because Shaheen Shah Afridi is not there in the Pakistan squad anymore. Devankar, what's your take?
I think it's a mixture of both. I think when we started this discussion, I said that it's a comparison between the top six teams or the six teams, and then who we consider as the topmost team amongst those six, and then we start comparing the other teams to them. If that top team would have been Pakistan, we would have been comparing India's top six to Pakistan top six, India's bowling to Pakistan's top bowling. So we feel holistically India has a better batting side, even if you're saying that we do not have a very experienced bowling side. I would say, yeah, we do not have an experienced bowling side, but we've got a good bowling side. We've got bowlers for the conditions. I mean, we've got good spinners, we've got good all-rounders, and we've got good pacers also. Barring Avesh Khan, I think who's a tourist for this. He'll get hit for runs if he plays. Even Afghanistan can take him for 40-50 runs for his 4 overs. But barring Avesh Khan, the rest of the bowling, Bhuvi again, I mean, I think he should be bowling with the top 3 overs, not come down in the final overs. That's according to me, but he's been bowling well in the final overs, also getting hit. But to my point, the most important factor why we select India as top number 1 is, as Gopal pointed out, the depth of all-rounders that we have. And to believe to your point, Shantan, if Jadeja is not playing the Sunday's match, big mistake on India's part, India management's part. It's a big mistake. Jadeja is not only a good batsman or a good bowler, he saves those 10-15 crucial runs, and he can also inflict a run out that can change the course of the match. For me, getting Jadeja just on the field for whatever he's done for the last 7-8 years, he deserves a place more than Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma to be in your top 11 for all your three formats that India plays. So India has a very strong batting lineup, and with the approach that we are doing, everybody hitting the ball from hitting out the ball. So I don't think our inexperience with the bowling is going to matter much. So if the other teams are looking to score at 140, 150, even if we start targeting 140, 150, we might end up scoring 180 or a 190. And then it's easier for the bowlers to, if Dew doesn't come in, it will be easier for our bowlers to actually go ahead and defend that. And then again, Hardik's role, Ashwin's role, Jadeja's role, if those three are played together, would be very, very crucial. And then our bowling has to then perform better. That's the reason why I'm putting India as a very strong side for the Asia Cup at least.
Okay. So we'll just restrict our thoughts to that. If you've not seen our previous videos, please go and see. I think our first video was related to the Asia Cup squad and the India squad. So we spoke a lot about that. With this, I think we'll come to an end to this series. We're absolutely geared up, but we have been talking about a lot of the Sunday match between India and Pakistan. But at the same time, there is a very exciting match that's going to happen 7:30 p.m. India time. That's going to be on Star Cricket, and it's going to be live on Disney Star Hotstar. I think Disney Sports Hotstar as well. It's going to be a game between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan. So that's going to be a cracker of a game as well. Thank you everyone for listening to us. If you like our content, please do hit the like button and please subscribe to our channel. There's going to be all button that you need to click so that you get all the notifications every time we post the video. It's just the start, guys. Thanks for joining. We are going to bring more videos to you each day of the Asia Cup, even if that's for 15 minutes and late at night. So thanks again to both of you. It's late at night here in India. You take care of yourself, and we'll all speak again tomorrow. Good night.
Bye-bye.